Hello, everybody. Welcome in to the latest edition of the Bombers Beat podcast. I'm going to keep this intro pretty brief, but I do want to kind of mention that we're going to change up the format a little bit here on this show based on both direct and indirect feedback I have gotten. It seems like doing the daily recaps only get some level of reaction, interaction. But there's been a lot more positive feedback, a lot more interaction, and just a lot more activity in general around some of the bigger picture topics, whether it's the trade deadline stuff, whether it was my previous Anthony Volpe rant, whether it's been just anything, even bigger series recaps, previews, things of that nature. So I'm going to lean into that a little bit more here going forward. And I think a big reason for that is just that I felt like doing the daily game recaps just didn't feel fulfilling. It didn't feel like every day I had something really new or different to talk about. And obviously there's so many different ways to consume the game, consume recaps, box scores, things of that nature. But I think it would be better to kind of talk about the bigger picture topics surrounding the New York Yankees, my take on them, back up some information, all that sort of thing. And based on what I've been able to do here over the last 3 months of this show since I've started it, that seems to be the feedback that I've gotten. So we'll get right into it here. Today is Tuesday, July 22nd. And I say that to say that I feel the same way about Anthony Volpe now as I did a couple months ago when I first did this. But why I felt this topic was worthy of exploring today. And by the way, for those of you that are watching on YouTube, you'll see there'll be a couple graphical things that I'm going to putting up on the screen right about now. That will kind of break down Anthony Volpe to kind of give you a visualization of some of the numbers that I'm breaking down. For those of you that are listening on the podcast feeds, it'll still be, you can still listen to it the same way. I'll still break it down the same way I always would. But for those of you that may not have known, it's available in both spots. There it is. But I'm keeping it camera off at the moment just so that this can be your secondary screen experience, whether you're at work, working out, in the car, wherever it might be. You don't need to have you don't need to watch the video version of this. You don't have anything that you have to watch it in order to understand. So, but without further ado, and if I sound exasperated, I am. Because I, like a lot of Yankees fans right now, am tired of being gaslit. I'm tired of being gaslit by the organization about what the player Anthony Volpe is right now. And that is a well below average major leaguer. And I understand that he is 24. I understand that he's a former top prospect. I understand that both the organization and the team itself have a lot invested, both in terms of the starting shortstop position, and also if you want to look back at the opportunity cost on what they passed on and what they've missed out on in years past in free agency and trades, etc., in Anthony Volpe. And it is in their best interest to continue to defend him. However, I don't like being lied to. And this is going to be the crux of this argument. After last night's game, Aaron Boone said, quote unquote, a few plays have created a negative narrative around Anthony Volpe. He also said, quote, he's still a top shortstop. And that comes in line with a lot of different things that we have heard about the organization from Cashman, from Boone. And after last night, Volpe not only leads the American League in errors, he has regressed considerably. He's in the 36th percentile in fielding run value, which is well below average and far, far below where he's been at any other point in his career. Again, it's been a brief career, but he was above average in 2023, and he was elite last year. And he has been bad this year. The eye test says he's been bad. The metrics say he's been bad. The traditional old school stats say he's been bad. Everything says he's been bad. Now, I understand that Aaron Boone is not going to come out and just rag on his players publicly. That's not one, it's not his style, and two, it's really not the style of 95% of baseball managers or NFL head coaches or whatever to go publicly into the media and rip their player and not defend them. So I understand that. However, and I want to give some credit to this because he put it in words what I've been thinking. And there's a guy named David Rifkin on social media. I happened to see him quote tweet the Aaron Boone news conference where he's responding to questions about Anthony Volpe. And I want to give him credit because I feel like he's done a very good job of explaining in one sentence what I was thought. And I guess in two sentences because he's making a quote here. He says, Boone could literally just say, quote, Volpe's a better player than he's been showing, and it's our job to help him be that player. Instead, he spews this nonsense, and it's why so many fans can't stand him. And I think that is really the epitome of why Yankees fans are so upset right now, is that the organization refuses to have any sort of acknowledgement that there is a problem right now. And I understand that you can't come out and just rip your player. I understand you can't just come out and just say, oh yeah, he sucks, he's not good right now, I'm going to bench. I get it. But you also are getting to the point where you're insulting our intelligence. Anthony Volpe is making bad plays consistently, and then Aaron Boone continues. I think he was on on John Boy, and I not today's show. I'm recording this before he goes on and talks with them today. I cannot wait to see if they ask him about Volpe. But last week when they asked him about Volpe, they said something to the effect of, do you think he's taking his offensive struggles out in the field with him? And Aaron Boone looked at them like they had three heads. What do you mean? What are you talking about? Taking his struggles out there. He's fine. Like it's just unbelievably frustrating because you look at what's happened this year. And by the way, he's been bad this year at the bat too. There's been no redeeming quality. Like, I know he had a little bit of a hot start power-wise. So, after finishing 2023 in the 5th percentile in batting run value and last year in the 4th percentile, he's currently sitting in 16th, but he is rapidly heading down. The only two things in his advanced metrics that he does above average are his barrel percentage and his chase rate. That's it. It's just incredibly frustrating to sit here and watch Volpe struggle in really literally every aspect of playing baseball right now. And then being told that not only is he not doing those things, but we're ridiculous or crazy for asking about it or pointing it out. And it's just incredibly frustrating. So let's talk about once again where we're at with Anthony Volpe right now. Here's what the advanced number. The raw numbers show this plenty of ways. Dude's hitting 214. He's got a 680 OPS. He's slugging under 400. I mean, you can look at those numbers too, but let's take a look under the hood here. Everything is low. And by the way, this is not unusual. He has never at any point in his career shown that he's going to be an above average hitter. It's been 3 years. I get it. I'm not saying that a guy can't get better in his 20s. I'm not saying that. But he hasn't. He has played now. I mean, this is going to be his third full season. It's not like, he played, he had 150 at-bats in 2023, or he had this here, he had that. No, I mean, he's coming up on, by Friday, he'll have 1,700 career plate appearances. 1,700. So this is something that is not an area where he just doesn't have enough at-bats. He's got more than enough of a sample size here. So currently, 32nd in expected WOBA, 16th in expected batting average, 39th in expected slugging, 37th percentile in average exit velocity, 15th in sweet spot percentage. Like, it's 39th in K rate, 40th in whiff rate. Like these are all, 50 is average type of a thing. These are all percentage, percentile ranks among Major League Baseball. His range right now, 18th percentile, arm strength, 35th percentile, which we knew his arm strength's not special at the position, but his range was always where he made his money. Like he was in the 97th percentile in range at shortstop last year, 71st as a rookie when he won the Gold Glove. Although again, he won the Gold Glove in 2023, probably deserved it in 2024. Not probably, definitely deserved it in 2024 more than he did in 2023. But the bat isn't coming around at all, and there's a point where I understand that he's young, and I understand that he was a top prospect. I understand he was a first-round pick. But I also understand that he is getting every day at bats for 3 years now. 3 years of everyday at bats. There is a point where you have to start to be productive, or you have to start to look for other options. And I understand that Anthony Volpe's not going anywhere this year. He's not going to go anywhere next year. I would be stunned if he is not the Yankees starting shortstop in 2026. However, there needs to be a reasonable adult conversation that is had about Anthony Volpe, what he is, more importantly, what he isn't, and most importantly, what he needs to show over the back part of this season and the start of next season to prove that he is going to be the starting shortstop of the present and the future. Because right now, the way the bat has always been bad. The question was like, you could live with a bad bat that might develop if you were getting elite defensive metrics at shortstop. You are not getting that now. And you are not even getting average metrics at shortstop. So the question is going to be, do we think that the 2024 Anthony Volpe fielder is coming back? Or is this kind of what he's going to be? He's going to oscillate between being slightly above average and below average as a fielder. And if that's going to be the case, with the bat the way that it is, he's not a starter. And you just have to admit that. And you can't just sit there and continue throwing good money after bad and just keep throwing him out there. You're the Yankees. You're always in a World Series window. And more importantly, you're in Aaron Judge's World Series window. You got to do everything you can, everything in your power to put yourself in contention every single year. And the fact that you're willing to bury your head in the sand on this, like you have, and I understand it's a little bit tougher to give, and they don't have a lot, another great shortstop option on the roster right now. I understand that. But you're giving off days to a lot of guys that don't need off days this year. You're getting a lot of, and I understand some of that is the roster construction and things of that nature. It's not like, okay, well, you're going to bench Volpe and play Jason Dominguez. I understand that that's not how that works. You can't just do the MLB The Show Diamond Dynasty thing and start putting a right fielder at shortstop and hope nobody hits it to you. But what I'm saying is I don't like that the organization appears to not only not want to acknowledge what's going on with Anthony Volpe, but is getting angry at media and fans for asking about it. That's the part I don't like. And Cashman in the past has been very defensive about Anthony Volpe. Right now, Boone is being extremely defensive about Anthony Volpe and has been so for about a month now. And I understand you're going to defend your guys. I understand that you handle some of these things internally. But they seem to coddle him in a way that no other player in recent memory has been coddled. And I just don't understand why. I don't understand what Anthony Volpe has done in his brief career that has been worthy of getting this level of defense. I don't want to hear that he's quote-unquote effing elite anymore. I don't want to hear that, he's still a top shortstop. I don't want to hear it. Either acknowledge that there's a problem and that we're going to attempt to fix it. And by the way, I do think people would be supportive. I think the fan base wants to like Anthony Volpe, the person. I do. And I think if there was some level of acknowledgement from the organization that something is wrong, it's not going well, and we and Anthony Volpe are going to work tirelessly to figure out what it is and to fix it and to get back on track, I think people would be receptive to it. I think people would, even in the New York market, even with Yankees fans, I think they would be receptive to it. I think what they are making this doubly worse by watching this night in and night out and night in and night out and night in and night out, and then also telling us that there's nothing wrong. There's nothing to see here. Everything is great. It's not, and I'm sick of it. He is an automatic out when he comes up to the plate, it feels like most times. I know he had that 2-homer game coming out of the break. Awesome, great. Love that. Love that for you. But it's been a problem more often than not. And it's just frustrating. And you take a look at his numbers in every scenario. It's bad. It's just bad. And it's his numbers with runners in scoring position are abysmal. He's still hitting toward the middle-ish part of the lineup more often than not. It's just bad. It's just bad everywhere. And even if you want to take the short sample size, with Anthony Volpe, actually, believe it or not, leads the Yankees in runners in scoring position since June 1st. Plate appearances of the runners in scoring position. And he's hitting under 150. It's so incredibly frustrating. And you look at what's happened this year is nobody on the Yankees, and by the way, it's not just June 1st, nobody on the Yankees has had more at-bats with runners in scoring position this season than Anthony Volpe. And arguably nobody's been worse. And it's just a problem. It's just a problem. It just isn't coming around. And again, and I'll end it here. I don't want to go on a rant in circles. We know there's problems everywhere. He's not hitting well enough. He's not fielding well enough. Period. End of story. He is not playing the game of baseball well enough right now to start. I understand they did not prepare to have anybody else come in and take over for him. And I don't expect they're going to have anybody come in and take over for him here the rest of July, August, September, and hopefully during October baseball for the playoff run. But they need to have a real heart-to-heart moment as an organization this offseason and put some very specific parameters around what they need Anthony Volpe to do and thresholds he must meet before they say we're going to look for other options. And oh, by the way, you better have somebody on this roster next year that can play shortstop just in case he doesn't hit them. You have to. And I'm tired of hearing that we're crazy. I'm tired of hearing that we're being ridiculous. I'm tired of hearing that we shouldn't be asking. I'm tired of hearing that, oh, what are we seeing? No, stop it. You're gaslighting us. And I'm freaking sick of it. And I know you are out there too. Because, again, there is nothing that defends this. The eye test doesn't defend this. Traditional stats don't defend this. Advanced analytics don't defend this. There is nothing that can defend this except for this organization, apparently, who just thinks we're all stupid. We're all blind. We all can't read. We're all illiterate. Because I'm just sick of it. So we will see what happens. I don't think this is going to change. This is not like, oh, he's in a 2-month slump. I mean, he's in a full season slump with the glove. He's been in a 3-year slump with the bat. So when is this going to change? And when do we have to say, okay, I know people like Anthony Volpe. I know the organization really, yeah, he was our guy. We loved him. We chose him over Correa. We chose him over Seager. I get it. But you know what? There's a point where you have to stop throwing good money after bad. And I think the Yankees are really getting to that point very soon, and they need to admit it. And if they don't, they're only going to make this problem worse, and they're only going to piss us off even more.